Hello, I just wanted to take a moment to explain we're offering the hybrid Santa Q, and essentially it's same day appointments online and on set. And I know that there's some um, perception that appointments actually constrain the volume or the potential volume versus first come, first serve walk up. But actually, a combination of both maximizes the opportunity simply because there's 60% of the population at this point prefers to, if they have a choice, to make an appointment online. And, that's the digital consumer. It's part of their, I guess, a natural selection process as they evolve as digital consumers. And these are folks who spend 24 hours a week in their leisure time online, not to mention work. So they're familiar with the value and the benefits of the web. And that's what they expect from their um, service providers or e-tailers is the ability to make purchases and do their business online. So by offering this, it's really more of keeping up with the trend of what your customer wants. And the way we've designed it, it should do no harm to what you're currently doing. So, the goal will be to accelerate salary and drive revenue, deliver a superior customer experience for those who prefer to do online and show up at the time that their appointment is. It creates brand loyalty in the sense that you offer it and the other competitor doesn't, if there is another competitor, and then reduce the cost and time of scheduling appointments. Now, that's a concept of organizational drag, where we find ourselves doing things that are routine and meaningless almost over and over again. If it was automated, we'd have more time for staff to do other things. Well, that's exactly how customers feel about making an appointment manually. It's that time that's wasted on the phone, going through the phone tree, going back and forth trying to get an appointment, where you can go online, see what's available, put your information in. And that in return does increase time for your staff to work on other things like customer engagement on the set. So this is, not a business strategy. This is actually a business necessity because it's driven by today's consumers. Uh, what's interesting about this consumer is that it's worth it. They're 60% of the population would make an appointment online if they have the choice. And the socioeconomic class of that 60% is middle class and up. In other words, they have resources and obviously they're savvy enough to do this online. And it's their preferred line of engagement. And, that's where we should always try to meet our customers. With SantaQ, to protect the revenue and the volume, what we would do is enable overbooking, and that would allow multiple patients during a particular time slot. So let's say you do four patients, I'm sorry, four visits, 4 minutes per visit. You can pick an interval of 15 minutes, so 3 o'clock to 3:15, and that would be maybe what, four visits. So you can make it six. We can divide it up where only three come through the portal and two come through the online through the kiosk, or vice versa. So I think what's important about that is it gives that flexibility. There is no favoritism. You got to really think of it as um, call ahead seating at restaurants who don't offer reservations, but they do have this call ahead seating, which frankly for restaurants it's a very difficult thing to process without automation because staff will tend to get stuck waiting for the person to show up. This case, we don't have to worry about it. Where this will happen will be right here. Now, I can't show you the kiosk view of the iPad simply because Apple doesn't allow you to screen record software. So this is a laptop view, and this is typically we don't use this. We only use the laptop um, because of its limitations. And but what I want to show you is that what your staff would see on the iPad is they're going to see that there is an appointment time at 10 o'clock. so they'll know that. Um, and they can, obviously, they can continue booking people for 10 o'clock up until, let's say you set it for six appointments. Once they hit six, that 1 o'clock won't be available anymore. And what happens is the customer will get their text 10 minutes before. One, they'll get their a notification that they have the appointment, and that they'll get a reminder text 10 minutes or 20 minutes or 15 minutes, whatever you set it at, before their appointment. So, yeah, you would think, oh, they're all going to show up at 6 o'clock and expect to go. And that's really the case. And if they do in this type of setting, because of how quick things can move, there really is no dissatisfaction. However, you're getting the volume that's online that prefer to do it this way. And by doing it this way, means if I click the kiosk here, this is, there'll be a portal we'd have a widget on the mall's website. And what would happen is they would click the portal. This would open up. I'd probably have it in week view, just even though they can book same day, you can do it in week view, or you can do it in day view, like right here. And Francis was already put in the portal. So if he's put in the portal on this side, he's already in the calendar. We'd set it up so it would be private. So no one can click on it and see that it's Francis. It would just be an appointment's there. What I wanted to show you here is this is where you enter their information. I have a lot of real estate here, and one of the things that I'd recommend is this particular group also purchases everything online. So when they engage something online, like log in and do this sort of thing, they're ready to purchase what they want. And there's a couple strategies here. One could be, if you want to use the online appointment system, you have to pre-purchase your package. Frankly, I think it's a good idea because it's going to reduce organizational drag at the point of sale. So if you have three folks for 3 o'clock that are coming through, and you booked another two at 3 o'clock through the kiosk, well, it's only going to be the two at the kiosk that there's going to be like a cash transaction. The other three, because they came through the portal, that will already be done and paid for and can be validated through the portal. So again, you really are maximizing efficiency and giving the customer what they want. It's designed so there's flexibility. Staff can always override from the kiosk whatever they want, and use it as they see fit. In other words, the system isn't fixed. They can continue to book folks or without putting them in the system if they have to. So in other words, I don't want you to think that if you set it for 5 visits and they get through them, and there's, it's a 10-minute interval and they get through them in 6 minutes, you got to wait until, the 10-minute mark rolls around to process the rest. And it's not the case. You can just keep processing them through. The point is, it's really the ability to gain as much volume as possible. We can also limit it if it's an issue, let's say, for your client, because they don't understand usually. Maybe there's times during the weekday that there really isn't much activity. You can limit it, and this is what emergency room urgent cares are doing, is they're offering appointments same day. And they're usually during these periods of time where there isn't a lot of traffic, but they have all the assets and all the providers and all the money that goes into an ER. So when they do offer appointments and people see that, it's interesting. People will take off from work and go because they feel they have an appointment. So it increases satisfaction. It gives the families what they want and allows you to have best of both worlds. And, I think the timing's right. A client of mine up in Canada, Cadillac Fairfield Malls, I guess, they went to completely online, and it didn't work out well because there wasn't the ability for her on set to easily process people who are walk-ups. This is designed based on my discussions with her that it allows us to do both. And it's only 8 weeks, and I think it's definitely worth trying. And so, like I said, I'm interested in what we would do with the real estate here. I do think a transaction makes sense. That would commit them, and they'd show up. And it's sort of the a price for the convenience. But that's my thought, and it isn't too difficult. There's a few things that we probably want to finish changing and tests, but we can have it rolled out pretty quickly. So let me know what you think, and we'll proceed from there. Goal is to get this into as many locations as possible. Thanks.